From the very beginning, people whispered behind his back, saying Filipinos were too small for the global stage, too humble to rise, too quiet to lead, and too soft-spoken to stand beside the world's brightest minds. They said Filipinos could work hard, yes, but compete with NASA? That was a dream too big, too far, too impossible. These whispers traveled through classrooms, offices, and airports, repeating the same old doubt. Filipinos don't belong in the world of space science. Filipinos don't belong in the room where the future is designed. Filipinos can't compete with the world. But they had no idea that one young man was quietly preparing to change all of that. Not with loud promises, not with connections, not with privilege, but with discipline, curiosity, and a fire that no stereotype could extinguish. And the world would soon watch a moment they never saw coming. It started in a small coastal town in the Philippines, where power interruptions were normal and textbooks were outdated. But this boy saw something others did not. Every time the power went out and the sky darkened, he would step outside and look up. The moon, the stars, the strange glow of distant galaxies awakened something in him. While other kids played basketball in the streets or chased each other around the fields, he stayed still, drawn by the silent mystery above. He didn't know what NASA was then. He only knew that space felt like a place where dreams didn't need permission. His mother worked long hours. His father took whatever job was available. Money was always tight. But even in hardship, they supported his unusual fascination. When he asked questions about space, they bought him one old science book from a UK stall. The pages were yellowing, some torn, but he treated it like treasure. It became his window to the universe. In high school, he learned quickly that he was different. While others memorized formulas, he wanted to know why those formulas existed. While his classmates scribbled answers fast, he asked the teacher to explain how stars lived and died. The teacher saw potential, but also the limits of the school. There was no lab, there were no telescopes, there were no advanced science tools. But the boy made do with what he had. He built tiny projects from scrap metal. He used old broken radios to experiment with circuits. He created simple machines from recycled plastic. His passion grew, but so did the doubts around him. A classmate once told him, "Your dreams are too big for someone born here." Another said, "NASA, that's for geniuses, not us." He never forgot those words. They fueled him. When he entered college in Manila, everything changed. For the first time, he met professors who encouraged him to aim higher. He had access to computers, real labs, and actual research journals. But life wasn't suddenly easy. Money was still a problem. He had to walk long distances to save coins. He skipped meals to afford project materials. He tutored classmates just to earn enough for transportation. But no sacrifice felt too heavy. Every experiment he finished, every formula he solved, felt like one step closer to the stars. During his third year, a poster appeared on the bulletin board. International Space Innovation Challenge. Students worldwide may apply. The competition was backed by NASA. It was open to anyone. But no one from his school dared join. The challenge was too difficult. The requirements were too advanced. The global competition was too strong. His classmates said it was pointless. His seniors said it was a waste of time. Even some professors discouraged him, saying the school had never produced a finalist. But he stared at that poster for a long time, feeling something awaken inside him again, the same feeling he had when he first looked at the stars as a boy. He tore off one of the tabs, folded it into his pocket, and decided quietly he would enter. He entered alone, not with a team of 5 or 10 like the other universities. Just one Filipino student with an old laptop, unstable internet, and a dream that refused to die. The challenge required designing a device or system that could help astronauts survive extreme environments. Others had access to world-class labs, advanced software, and the guidance of elite professors. He had none of that. What he had was imagination. He started sketching. He experimented using recycled parts. He coded simulations in the school's computer lab from morning until closing time. When security guards forced students to leave, he continued working under a streetlight outside, balancing his laptop on his knees. Weeks turned into months. He failed repeatedly. His first design overheated, his second design collapsed under simulated pressure. His third design malfunctioned, but he never stopped. He refined, rebuilt, redesigned. He worked until his fingers hurt, and just when time was almost up, his breakthrough finally came. A compact, energy-efficient thermal regulation system designed specifically for emergency use during astronaut extravehicular activities. It was simple, lightweight, and innovative. But would it be enough? He submitted his work with no expectations. Then he waited and waited and waited, until one morning, as he checked his email before class, he froze. He couldn't breathe. His hands shook. He read it again and again, making sure he wasn't dreaming. Congratulations. Your design has been selected as a finalist for the International Space Innovation Challenge. A Filipino, representing a small college, competing head-to-head with students from MIT, Stanford, Tokyo University, and top engineering schools around the world. The whole school buzzed with shock. Professors who once doubted him shook his hand. Students who laughed at his dream now asked how he did it. But he stayed humble. The real battle was still ahead. Finalists were invited to present their projects live in front of NASA engineers, scientists, and aerospace experts. His heart pounded when he read that line. It meant facing the world stage. It meant proving that he, someone who came from a place many people overlooked, deserved to stand among the brightest minds in science. He prepared day and night. He practiced speaking to empty classrooms. He recorded himself explaining his work. He studied every technical question judges might ask. He strengthened his design, tested it again and again, and rehearsed every detail until he could present in his sleep. When he finally arrived at the venue in the United States, he felt overwhelmed. The auditorium was massive. Students from elite universities stood confidently with sleek prototypes and advanced equipment. He wore a simple suit. His prototype was made of recycled parts and 3D printed components he assembled himself. But despite everything, he felt something powerful inside him, a pride born from surviving hardship, from fighting doubt, from proving to himself that he belonged there. Then the moment arrived. His turn. He stepped onto the stage. The lights were bright. The judges watched intently. He heard whispers behind him from other participants who were surprised to see a Filipino finalist. But he breathed deeply and began. His voice was calm. His explanation was clear. He spoke about the problem astronauts faced, how his design worked, and why it was efficient. When he finished, he pressed a button on his prototype. It activated perfectly. The judges leaned forward, impressed. They asked difficult questions, and he answered all of them with confidence, logic, and grace. When he walked off the stage, he felt relief. But he also felt something else. He had done everything he could. The rest was out of his hands. Hours later, everyone gathered for the announcement of winners. The room was tense. Students from powerful schools whispered excitedly. Professors held their breath. Then the host stepped forward. This year's top award, he said, goes to a design that is not only creative but also highly practical, efficient, and resource-smart. A pause, a long silence. The winner, the host continued, is the Filipino student. For a moment, everything stopped. He didn't hear cheers. He didn't see the cameras. He didn't even feel the tears forming in his eyes. He just stood there, stunned, unable to move. Then the applause erupted, loud, thunderous, unstoppable. Even the competitors who once underestimated him clapped. NASA engineers approached him to shake his hand. Reporters surrounded him. Professors from other countries congratulated him. One judge told him, "Your design has real potential. You have a bright future in aerospace." Another said, "You proved that brilliance can come from anywhere." The boy from the small coastal town, the student who used recycled parts, the contestant who had no team, no lab, no privilege, won. News outlets around the world reported it. Social media exploded with pride. Filipinos everywhere shared his story. Overseas workers cried seeing someone from their homeland rise so high. Students felt inspired. Teachers felt hope, and those who once said Filipinos couldn't compete with the world were forced to reconsider everything. NASA invited him to join a special internship program. His invention was taken into further research. He became a symbol of possibility, not because he was a genius, but because he worked harder than everyone else. He remained humble. In interviews, he always said the same thing. Filipinos can compete. We always could. We just never had the chance. He returned to the Philippines and visited schools. Students stared at him with awe because he looked like them. He spoke like them. He came from the same struggles they did. He told them not to fear dreaming big, not to let stereotypes trap them, not to believe those who say Filipinos are meant only for support roles, never leadership. He said the world stage is not only for the privileged, but for anyone brave enough to walk toward it. His story spread far beyond science. It became a symbol of breaking barriers, a reminder that talent isn't determined by birthplace, a message that the Philippines has brilliance waiting to be discovered, and a warning to anyone who underestimates Filipinos. Do not mistake humility for weakness. Do not mistake kindness for lack of ambition. And do not mistake silence for absence, because somewhere in a small town, a child might already be imagining something extraordinary, something that will one day change the world. In the end, his victory was not just about NASA. It was about identity, representation, pride and proof. Proof that Filipinos can compete. Proof that Filipinos can innovate. Proof that Filipinos can rise. And the world finally saw what they had ignored for so long. They said Filipinos couldn't compete with the world until this Filipino won in NASA. And after that moment, no one could ever say it again.